Wow, I wasn't expecting that, to be honored by the women in that way today. Amba Wastich, Tansi, Dada Nastada, Size Etia. Okinitskwa, Ituano Gabesto Chipistis. To my Sutena family, I'm known as Etia, always ready, which I always have to remind people does not mean always on time, as you saw evidence today. Because Indian time, same thing. Minister Sani knows about this. And of course, to my Nitsiktappi, family in typical Blackfoot sense of humor, Elder Pete standing alone gave me a name I cannot pronounce. Abesto Cheapistus. Clan leader, he who moves camp and the others follow. And those names were among the most significant things of my life until just now, to be honored by the women in this way. And especially that Blackfoot name is something that I take very seriously. How do we move that camp? How do we move to a better place of not just reconciliation, but a word that Elder Casey Eagle Speaker taught me this summer, reconciliation. And I think that is the most important thing facing our nation right now. And certainly, as we talk about our murdered and missing sisters today, we're also doing so in a very different place than we've been even a year ago. You know, this spring, when the remains of the children were found at Kamloops, and suddenly, it felt like people were talking about truth and reconciliation in a different way. I have to tell you something. I'm going to make an admission to you. My first response to that was a hard response. My first response to that was thinking, what took you so long? How could you not have known? Have you not been listening to the survivors? Have you not been listening to the elders? The first report on residential schools was written in 1907. Residential schools continued for 90 years after that. We've always known. We've always known. But then I talked to some folks and I spoke with some elders and they helped me understand that my hard response was the wrong response. Because even though it may feel too late, it's not too little. Because with all those broken hearts across the country, we have to recognize that broken hearts are also open hearts. And this is our moment to fill those open hearts. To fill those open hearts with our voices, with cries for justice, with cries for truth, with cries for understanding, and with cries for action. The biggest danger we face right now is that all of this talk becomes just that talk. That yes, we start every single meeting now, we start weddings and funerals with a land acknowledgement, but we cannot allow that to become like saying grace before dinner, just empty words. Because when we do that acknowledgement, we're not talking about the dusty past. We're talking about who we are today. And most important, we're making an intentional statement about the future that we want to build together. And that's why today's vigil, I want us to think about that. It's a day of sorrow, and it's a day of great lament. It's a day of remembering loved ones. It's a day of questioning what happened to them. It's a day of asking that endless question, what if? What if they were men? What if they were white? What if they were privileged? Would this have gone this way? And of course it wouldn't. And we have to ask those questions. But at the same time, we must use today and every day as an opportunity to move towards a more just future. A future where our Indigenous sisters coming up now can walk safely on any street, where they have the opportunity to live a life of dignity and prosperity just like everyone else. And it takes every one of us to do that. It's not just good-looking politicians making speeches. I mean Minister Sawney and Minister Isaac, of course. But what I mean is every one of us. Every one of us using our hands, our hearts, our voices, and our minds to always speak for truth and to always speak for justice. I've gone on too long already, but I'm not done yet. I'm done being mayor 3 weeks today. And literally exactly 3 weeks at noon today. And yes, I'm gonna miss me too. But our community is strong, and we are strong because of the people who make us strong. So I'm excited today to be joined by these two great women politicians, these two great women leaders who are here with us today. I'm proud to be joined by the most thoughtful police chief in the country, if not in North America, Chief Neufeld, who has been working hard to acknowledge and move forward with systemic racism in our community and our policing. I'm proud to be joined by someone who wants to become the first First Nations person on our city council, Marilyn North Big Ann, our police commissioner. I'm proud to be here in the spirit of our friend Ruth Scalplock, Awo Taan, who has lent her name to this remarkable organization that's brought us together today. And Josie and her team, and Awo Taan, who perform miracles every single day for Indigenous women in our community. And so on a day of lament, and on a day of sadness, I also want you to feel joy for those leaders who have done this work and for our ability to continue doing the work. Saturday night, I went to a performance at the Arts Commons. You may know I love the theater, and this is the first time I got to go to the theater in 2 years. And they ended that performance with a song from a musical that was written here in Calgary that was premiered at Theatre Calgary. And I want to share some of the lines of that song with you. It's called The Louder We Get. And it says, "This is the sound of ground breaking. This is our action call. They haven't heard enough from us yet. They ain't heard nothing yet. Because the more they try to silence us, the louder we get. The more they try to silence us, the louder we get. The more they try to silence us, the louder we get." So my friends, I will continue to be a voice in a different way for that truth and that justice. Let's get loud, and let's continue in our sorrow to fight for justice every day. Thank you all.
We would like to be able to honor our wonderful Mayor Nenshi in a good way. I ask all of you to stand for this honor song.